Hi, guys, and welcome back to the Creator Accelerator program. We are on week 4, day 2 of speakers. So I see a lot of lovely, familiar faces again. Thank you, everybody, for coming back. And if you guys are not familiar with the Creator Accelerator program, it is a creator little competition, but a little program to help motivate us content creators to go and lock in a 6-week window. It's hosted by our lovely hosts, Blurp and Streamladder. Every single week, we're here to motivate you guys to go post more content, to get the videos up, increase the quality. And one thing that we're doing for this is bringing in lovely speakers every single week so that we can go and pick their brains selfishly to go learn everything they have about content creation and maybe, grab a piece of knowledge here or there. So, with that, today we have 2 lovely speakers instead of 1, and we have Safiya and Tyler. Thank you guys so much for coming on.
Of course.
Hi, thanks for having
Yeah,
us.
thank you for having us.
So, if you guys are not familiar with Safiya and Tyler, they are one of the most viral, popular YouTube channels, billions and billions of views with just like the most interesting, unique video ideas, melting hundreds of products together, trying this and that, going around the world in Japan, testing Japan sleeper trains. And they structure their stories with curiosity, stakes, and payoff. And between the two of them, also, Tyler has played a pivotal role behind the scenes in shaping narrative, production, and editing, turning these experiments into millions of views. So, let's hear your background. What's the story of you two and your working relationship and the dynamic of how your channel evolved?
Yeah. Well, I don't think I'm the only one that's responsible for shaping the narrative
Well, it's
storytelling.
because you were
I was
originally
gonna
gonna
be
do it by yourself.
by myself. So Sop's coming in. We were talking about it last night. We're like, oh, it might be more fun if we do it together. Like a little bit more like repartee and us just hanging out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, we basically when we launched the channel, and sorry if I seem distracted at any point, we have 2 cats that are in the background and they're just like battle royaling in the background.
A little bit.
It's fun. If it was on camera, it'd probably be pretty engaging. I don't know if it has narrative payoff.
Oh,
But
you're so good. I have 2 cats, so I get it. They're
yeah,
currently not in this room for that reason.
yeah, yeah. And so basically, yeah, when we started the channel, I was working on a separate project at the time. It was actually in like the tech arena and sort of related to vlogging type stuff. But basically, like as the channel started, I would after work pop by and Esaf was like working the most of the day, like being like our lead editor, and she's still our lead editor, like going and shaping the videos. I'd come in with like some perspective, some opinions, and we'd kind of come in at the end of the day, and then that's started to evolve into more time editing together because I think that we were able to get the videos to places that we really enjoyed, and we thought that we were doing a good job executing them together. And so over the course of like the year and the first like 14 months of the channel, I think it just kind of pulled me into sort of being a like sort of joint writing, editing, I guess, narrative shaping partner.
Yeah.
I always was behind cam and was filming them with Sophia, and that was kind of like me, like sort of shifting into like what would be like a like almost like a field producer role, where like I prompt questions or like sort of try to direct story, and then Sophia obviously herself was doing a lot of the primary production as well. So then we could kind of like meet and kind of talk through it live on camera and sort of talk through the different beats and sort of shape out the story as we went. So I was always sort of involved from the start, but
Mhm.
on the editing and the story side, I think we started functioning more like an official role about like 14 months in.
Yeah. So yeah, Tyler and I were dating before we started the YouTube channel. I had like a little bit more production experience, a little more editing experience, that kind of stuff. But like you were helping me film, hold the camera, but also on the like sort of editing, narrative shaping, as you would say. And then I think just the vortex of the channel kind of like pulled him in.
Yes.
That's the vibe.
Yeah. Gravitational. Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
That is honestly such cool wording, like the vortex of it, like brought him in, and then now
Yeah.
both of you guys are like really nitty gritty in there.
Oh yeah.
So, getting into the narrative, why narrative matters, right? So, when did you guys realize just how powerful narrative storytelling can be for creators?
Mm. I feel like we're kind of coming at this from like a slightly different perspective because we're not streamers first, right?
Right.
Mhm.
We've been doing VODs and sort of like editing sort of VODs for a long time now.
Yeah.
I think that I've always sort of thought that because I mean, even back before we were doing our channel, like when I was working at BuzzFeed years and years and years ago, and sort of doing like unscripted YouTube content, I feel like you have to have some kind of through line to like sort of give your piece of content meaning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you're reviewing period panties,
Right.
or if you're reviewing cargo shorts, or whatever you're doing, like there has to be like a reason you're doing it, like some sort of stakes, and then a resolution. Like that'll be satisfying to the audience. There's a reason why they watch the whole thing. I also think that YouTube and like VODs might be a little bit different than streaming and streaming platforms in some ways, where like it's very, I mean, some people might have some luck with it, but it's very hard to have a YouTube video that's just like
Right.
just hanging out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that doesn't really work as much because YouTube is a lot about, I mean, if you do have like you're lucky enough to have an audience who likes your content, they might click on just hanging out.
Right.
But a lot of YouTube is driven by like the title, the subject, the thumbnail, and like people well, either if they're just looking for something to watch or like looking for something in particular, that person deciding based on what you're saying the video is about to watch that video. So whether or not that is necessarily having a narrative, it's definitely having like a subject and like a sort of a hook, you know? So I know that's not the exact same thing as narrative, but I think that it's kind of like integral to VODs, I would say, to have something like sort of like an entry point into the content.
It's about like setting expectations. I think that's also, we've always liked making videos about topics, right? Because it also, it sets the expectations. It sort of sets like the parameters for us, like when we're reacting or having like first person, reactions or experiences with like the video. It helps us like while we're actually generating it to sort of know the kind of lines we want to make or the kind of things where the video is going.
Mhm.
But I also think that like, there's this old thing where like the original idea of like clickbait with like thumbnails was that like people would like literally like change their thumbnails to be something that wasn't even related to the video. So you'd almost be like misguiding an audience where the expectations weren't actually set. So when they click in, it'd be a video about something completely different. And so like if you think about it, like the thumbnail is supposed to like sell the concept of the video. It's supposed to be like, this is what this is going to be about. This is like the experience this is what you're going to learn, or this is the experience you're going to get. And so it kind of relates to like sort of that idea of narrative. Like you're trying to sell what your content's about, and then they're going to come in and they're going to give a payoff to that expectation.
I think that might have been, wasn't that one of the reasons why YouTube changed their algorithm to favor watch time, like
Yeah.
over like just like clicks, you know what I
Yes.
mean? Because of the idea of like, oh, I can maximize clicks by having a crazy thumbnail,
Right.
and my video could be about something completely different.
Exactly.
But if you falsely advertise a video, click in and it's about something different, you'll click out, right?
Right.
But if you stay and watch, it's because it's what you thought it was going to be.
Exactly.
Oh, it's right, I'm in. We're in.
Yeah.
And then that started getting favored over just clicking.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's so interesting. I remember as like a YouTube consumer, the period of like the clickbaits, and that was so annoying because it's like, wow, oh, it's not what you thought. I love, Sophia, how you talked about a through line for the video and then a conclusion that pays off for the through line. It's like, why are you creating in the first place this piece of content? And I think that's for creators who are listening so important to keep in mind. Like, why are you making this video? What is the through line, and what is the conclusion going to be? There has to be something to tie everything together. And I think this goes into the storytelling of a video, right? Because it's more than just posting a video. There's a story to it. And how do you feel narrative storytelling can be used through live streaming and through your experience as a YouTuber?
Well, actually, I think that like, again, like, we come at, like with a preface of like we're coming from the YouTube and the VOD arena. We've done some streaming in the
Mhm.
past where we did like sort of like stream like particular crafts, or like we would cook recipes and stuff. And so those would actually have like a very like sort of clear like narrative through line. Like we're gonna find a craft, we're gonna talk about it, react to it. Then gonna cook it live, and then we're gonna taste it, and then the payoff essentially for the audience members, like our reaction to it, like what does it actually taste like? You've seen it on the internet a million times.
Yeah.
We have bumped into some streams that we've seen, like, usually they're like Pokemon Let's Plays, like super long form, like a challenge, like someone like only playing with like flying types, or like someone
Mm.
like doing like a Nuzlocke or something like that. And those videos I think have like really clear like narrative beats, right? Because it's like it's Pokemon. You have to go to like the different gyms, and then you have to go to the Elite Four, and there's very clear expectations, and everyone kind of knows that. And we've seen like a lot of some of those streams that have been like played. I think it's like the guy's name is like Small Ant, and he like takes that and then he like generates that into like a really strong VOD where like it's
He basically
basically
uses it as like vlogs, and then he like uses voiceover to like sort of lace together what happened in the stream as a VOD, like after the fact.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I feel like, in terms of, like, that experience as a viewer for that stream being, like, narrative, I think that that makes a lot of sense to me, where it's like, as a participant that you're there live, and, the way I think of it is, like, then as a VOD, the experience is, like, sort of then redone, you know? I mean, maybe it's faster or more efficient. So I think that those speak towards the different formats, right? Where, like, with the stream, you're there while these things happen, and I think that those, like, different, like, beats or those different segments, those different expectations, I think, definitely to me, like if you produce the stream and you have sort of like these different beats that you're working towards, it feels like it could be extremely entertaining. And I think that, like, again, like what Sophia said originally, there's definitely people who are like really great at like just chatting, just hanging out and stuff like that. And I think that we love like, lo-fi or ASMR content in VOD arenas where like they don't really have clear narratives. Like that definitely has a lot of value in the marketplace as well. But I think in terms of like like narrative storytelling married with streaming, I think that if you have a sort of a produced piece of content, I think it shapes the expectations for the audience. It kind of gets they know what direction it's going in. And I can only imagine for the creator itself, it like helps them know the kind of things that they could joke about or talk about or where the actual stream's going as well. So I think it probably leads to a higher like sort of predictability for the streamer itself. So it's not just like a total like scramble drill.
Yeah, I feel like kind of what you're talking about, Tyler, is like, I mean, it's the same with VOD too, actually, because we don't, even though we plan out a lot of our videos, we don't plan out like exactly how we're going to react to
Yeah.
things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'd still like to experience things in the moment and have like true reactions. So what you're talking about kind of is like having like a framing device,
Yeah.
a subject, I guess, for your live stream that then has clear narrative beats that you're going to hit.
Yes.
Right. So, like, if you're trying out like a viral online recipe, you have a sort of thing in the beginning, you're going to react to it. You're going to tell your audience why you're interested in it. You're like, I saw it and I just want to, it looks so squishy. I can't, I really
You want to
wonder what it
sink your
tastes
teeth in.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you're going to spend some time cooking it. There might be some hijinks there. You have some, but you have, like sort of like make sure that like you are still keeping in mind like doing the recipe, getting to the next beat, and then there's like a payoff of like, okay, here it is. What do you guys think? This is what it looks like. This is what it tastes like. All that stuff, right? So you're giving yourself like the narrative beats, and then at the end, you're like, was it as good as I thought it was,
Right.
or am I disappointed? Am I upset? You know what I mean? But I think that like just having something to frame what you're doing, I find as a viewer
Yeah.
keeps me more invested.
Yeah.
If there isn't one, I'm like, okay, bye.
It's
Kind
trickier.
of.
Well, I think it's also about like reducing resistance. Like,
Yes.
right? Like it's like we did this video that was like super long and challenging to film where we like stayed at every single hotel in the Vegas Strip.
Yes.
And like we kind of like we never done it before when we did it live, right? Or when we filmed the video, but we like knew all the places we had to get to. Right. So the hard part of like how do you get checked in? How do you get to the hotel room? How do you react? Yeah, we don't know what our reaction is going to be to the hotel room, but we want to know like when we're supposed to get there so we can set our own expectations up for ourselves. Right. And so
Yeah, you don't have to know the narrative before filming or streaming to have a narrative.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you can do a lot of that production work where you like set up the beats and then it's more about like then you can have what I would say are like more fun, like in situ, like your in situational sort of reactions to things. So you can do a better job vlogging and performing. And I feel like with streaming, that's similar. Like
Yeah.
where if you know where you're going, it could be helpful.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's actually beautiful. I mean, like you guys were saying, right? Like reacting to, a cheaper versus a really expensive Japanese train. Like, you're going to be on those trains, but you don't know exactly what your reaction is to the room or this, that, until you actually get there. And like you're saying, incorporating that into a stream, which I think chat is realizing, wait a sec, we're supposed to be planning for streams. It does make it more entertaining when you go into a stream besides just, I'm going to open up Pokemon or Poketopia, I guess is the new one, right? Like, what exactly are you going to be doing? Maybe you're going to be trying to complete a season of Poketopia. I don't know. I don't have a Switch 2. I wish I did. But, like coming into that, your audience goes into the stream now knowing, hey, I know what to expect. I know the streamer is going to be playing Poketopia right about where I stop, so I can kind of see what to expect. That's beautiful. And talking about like narrative structure and beats as well, how does narrative structure influence retention, watch time, and algorithm performance?
Like, I mean, I guess we're gonna preface this before every time. Like,
Yeah.
we do mostly VODs
Yes.
over streams, but what I would say is that I think that to me, it seems pretty intuitive that like having some type of narrative could just keep people, I don't want to say on the hook because it's not a
Right.
negative thing. It's not like you trick them into watching.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's a positive thing. It's, you know, there's sort of something that the audience is interested in that they want to see resolved, right? That they're like,
Yeah.
okay, we set up an experiment at the beginning, even if I wasn't there from the beginning of the stream, or I saw that there was some sort of something in the title of this stream that like the subject that I'm interested in seeing happen,
Yeah.
right? So I think that like narrative can be kind of, I think it can be kind of loosely applied to a lot of different types of like digital content. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Exactly.
Like it doesn't have to be like a tight, you know, 5-act play. You know, it doesn't have to be like
Yes.
super tight, but a narrative can just be like, I was interested in this thing. That's why we're doing it. We're going to go through it together. And at the end, we're going to see together what happened. Like, even that is just, that's, you can be applied to almost anything. So I think that, you know, like, I sort of interpret narrative in the digital space as like a video frame.
Yeah.
Like, what are we up to and why?
Right.
Like, that's sort of the idea.
Well,
What are we doing and why, as someone who doesn't know you, do I care?
right. Well, one thing is that like we don't gatekeep also like final results on things. Like when we like made this like giant candle in our studio, like everything possible went wrong. Like we had to make a late night trip to like Walmart to get like
Yes.
additional equipment. Like we had like our friend like putting a trash bag onto his arm to reach into a giant vat of like melted wax to try to like clear wax at the bottom. Like, and we put this all in the video because it's like part of the story, right? And so, or it's just what happened. Like, it's our first person experience, and we use our voiceover package just to kind of like accelerate things and make it a little bit more succinct, essentially. If it was like a live stream, I don't know how we would have gotten the stream to the Walmart, but it wouldn't be very different conceptually, right? And so
People do a lot of IRL streaming
Mhm.
they're
nowadays.
better at it than we are. I
Yeah.
don't know, but essentially, it's like, again, like we don't gatekeep to try to like basically like keep people on the hook. We actually think that people like to be there as the things unfold, which I think actually would speak a lot to the streaming, right? Like they like to see the hijinks and the things go sideways and stuff, and that's stuff that we like to incorporate into our content because it's not about like like humanizing it. It's almost like reacting to like no matter how much you plan, it's always going to go a little sideways. And actually, I was going to say regarding like the cheap versus expensive Japanese train overnight train video, it's like one of the things about being well planned because like those trains they were hard to film on because like things just kept like happening.
Trains are very hard to film on, honestly,
Yeah.
because it's like going by as you're filming. So you're like, like it's
No.
very, very ephemeral, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like you're only on there for 6 hours and you pass by a stop and you're never going back.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Mhm.
like that's the vibe the whole time. So it feels very like sort of like the sand
It's
is running through
fleeting.
your fingers.
It's yeah,
Yeah.
sand. Right, that's perfect. Yeah, but it's like they like have all these scheduled things. It's like really cool. I love it. But they'll be like, oh yeah, like these people from this like local city are coming on and they're bringing sake and you should drink it because that's nice. And then you drink it and you're a little drunk and they're like, oh, we're stopping at another place and you're gonna go out there and you're gonna buy stuff and it's at a library. You're like, oh, I didn't. So it's like, but by having the plan going in, it actually I felt like it lets you react to these sort of unexpected things better
Mm.
because it's almost like you're weathering 80% of it. So you can handle that additional 20% that's throwing you for a loop versus having to weather all 100% where it's like, okay, now I'm doing this on camera. I want to is the story making sense? Like, what's the video about? Are we doing a good job here? You can kind of be like, okay, like we know we got some of the beats here. So it's like, let's just kind of riff and have a good time through some of them.
One other thing that I wanted to mention on the how does narrative structure influence retention, watch time, and algorithm performance? I think that in streaming, from like what I see, there are a lot of, and in VODs as well, there are, I don't want to call them trends, but there are sort of frames that people know. Like you said, like Pokemon Nuzlocks, right?
Yeah.
Like everyone sort of, not everyone, but a lot of people know the rules of a Pokemon Nuzlocke.
Yeah.
And so I just watched a short of someone who's basically, I did not know who they were. I'd never seen them before in my life. And they they were like, the title was just something like, oh my god, risky Nuzlocke move or something like that.
Right.
And what it was like their Pokemon was poisoned and
Oh,
they
yeah.
had 22 HP left. And they were like, oh, I'm going to try and make it to this Pokemon Center really fast. And then they were like running. And I'd never seen them before, but I knew the rules because they were kind of like doing an established frame.
And if
I was like,
if,
oh, I know the stakes immediately.
if he faints, it
If it
dies.
faints, it's over.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah,
it's done.
Yeah.
And so I was immediately hooked in because I was like, oh, I know what we're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that like that's like sort of a very strong example of like a narrative because the stakes are high and a lot of people know the stakes just from a single word.
Yeah.
But something like that can get people to like care immediately. You know what I mean? So I think that that's something just to think about and also probably can give you opportunities for like this person did, like clipping out of your own stream and having like a viral short.
Yeah, and I think that for streaming, if you have this challenge of people coming in at different times, right? Like, one of the advantages that we have with VOD is we, like, can always reset expectations in the beginning of a video because, like, we know, like, they're gonna watch it linearly, right? And
Mhm.
so with the streamer, if someone's coming in the middle, that's a challenge, right?
Yeah.
And so if you have these rules baked in, if I come into, like, a speed run and they're, like, at the 4th gym, I know where they are.
I know it's we are continue to reference
Yeah.
Pokemon.
Yeah,
But
sorry. Strongest frame of reference here. If you guys want to hear more about our short-lived live stream, we can talk more about TikTok ingredients.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's about what we got.
Pokemon's a great place to start. Most people are familiar with Pokemon, so again, great
For sure.
starting point, right? And earlier you guys were talking about like the Japanese train video, but I want to dive a little bit into Safia's video specifically and talking about structure. How do you guys structure a video before filming begins?
For sure. Yeah, because I think that you were kind of like you danced around it a little bit, and we kind of
Mhm.
should probably reveal a little bit more,
Yeah,
right?
sorry about that.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I think that so we do a lot of planning before filming begins. Obviously, like Tyler said, like it's not exactly the same as a live stream. Like we wouldn't try and stream on two separate trains and compare them. Like it would be completely insane. But I think that even for when we did that like sort of live show, which we did for about a year,
Yeah,
we knew the topic, we had all the materials, we knew like kind of how long it was going to take, we knew like sort of all the things we needed to do and all the cameras we were going to use and what angles they were at, like we knew all that stuff going in. But for our videos, not only do we make sure we have all the logistics sort of nailed down in terms of what trains are they, how many cars are there, which cars are which car is our room in, what time does it leave, what time does it get to this station, what time does it get to this station, when like sort of all the logistics, we also do an outline of the video of like sort of what we think the general structure is going to be.
yeah,
So we write out like sort of the concept. We don't write out the whole intro, but we'll write out kind of like this is why it's interesting to us.
yeah,
Then we write out like, okay, so we're gonna get on the train or get on train number one. Then when we get on the train, we're immediately going to do our room tour and react to the room so we can get that out of the way. Then we're going to walk through all the cars and react to all the different cars and do a train tour
yeah,
so we get that out of the way. Then at this time, we have to get that done before this time because this time is when we have to get off the train to get the bento box.
yeah.
So we have like sort of like a written out outline of like how we think the video is going to go. But we always make sure we do not script our like actual like reactions. Like, oh,
Mhm.
you're gonna see the room and you're gonna like it. Like we never
Yeah,
say that.
no.
We always leave room for like, our authentic reaction in the moment of like how we actually feel and like sort of what we think of the thing while we're there. But we found it super helpful to have a plan of like how we think the video is going to go. So then we have a filming plan because then it's like, okay, we know we need to get like these shots of the room. We know we need to get these shots of the train, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But also we find it very grounding, especially on the train, which is like going by really fast. I also find the same with streaming that if like there's times when we were doing our stream, but also when I've just been on other people's live streams where you can feel kind of like a floating head
Right,
where you're like things are happening, time is passing.
right.
What's happening? So you want things that to ground you, right? Your
Oh, yeah.
plan is like if you ever like have that moment where you're like, whoa, I just disassociated. Okay, we're doing the crap. This is the next step. So I think that we do a lot of planning and structuring before filming, but always leaving room for like if anything random goes wrong, anything fun happens, or our actual reactions, we do not script those ahead of time.
The train's an easy one to also reference because it's like you want to film out the window if there's like really pretty landscape. But if you're like, okay, this segment is really not that long, so we don't have to freak out and just film out the window constantly. Now, what we've done is
That's hard.
yeah, so we don't do it well. But what we've done is we just get a GoPro and just put in the window.
Yes.
Right? Okay, we'll
that
go
helps.
back and we'll find the GoPro later. Right.
Yeah.
So and the reason we do so much of this production now is we didn't always do it. It's just that like we've started to do it more because we think it leads to more predictable, like authentic reactions. Like it gives us more chance to not be overwhelmed on set or
Yeah.
like not like lose control of where things are going. Like Saf said it well, like you're like a floating head on a stream, like you're live. That makes perfect sense. I think that like with when you're filming a VOD, it can be the same thing. You're like, we're losing time here. Things are happening. The days we're losing like sunlight, like things are happening.
Yeah.
Like we're falling behind. And then you start to spiral and you can get like really stressed. And like no one wants to be doing that on set while you're filming. Like that's the worst. You want to have like some ability to wrangle um what you're generating as content, and like it's so hard to, right? So you want to have that little wiggle where you can have things go sideways and you can stay calm and grounded. So yeah, I think that we do a lot of pre-production. But I think that what I would say also is we do really like to leave that room. We never script what our reactions are going to be.
Yeah,
Eh,
even when we film at like a celebrity chef restaurant, like we kind of know the things that we want to order because it's like, oh, this is their signature dish. Like this would be like then we have sort of like a green and a this, but we never say, oh, you're gonna get this and you're gonna think it's good. Like we
yeah,
never say that. Like we always leave the room for like, what do you actually feel like it was in the moment?
because you want to actually react to things like and give it like at face
You want to
value.
be
Yeah,
honest.
you want to like and yeah, a good example would be like when we went to the Vegas, when we did the Vegas video. Like everyone has opinions about like circus going in, right? Like oh, it's not a very
I
nice
love
hotel,
Circus Circus.
right? And so if you go in, you're like, I'm just gonna have, I know I'm gonna be there, and I just want to have like a true first person reaction. It's got an awesome theme park. It's got a pretty good like trapeze show,
Yeah.
and the room is not great. It's like, okay, like that's fine, but like you actually feel that way instead of
Yes.
going in
Form your
with
own
these like
opinion.
loaded opinions. Like, okay, I'm gonna go in there because I know it's like fun to be like, this is like scary and creepy, and the guy out front's bad. It's like, okay, but like you might miss like what's actually kind of cool about it because people do stay there, and Cat Leante likes it.
Yeah.
So there you go.
As a kid, the circus shows, man, my dad, he would just be like, "Yep, $20 per each of you kids. Go away for 3 hours." And then it was great. It was great when
Yeah,
you're like 7, loved it. But yeah, I think as you're describing with like having this framework to fall back on, both for streams and videos, especially streaming, a lot of times you start playing the game and then you start dissociating as you're playing. And then it's like, whoa, 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 4 hours passed. What was I supposed to be doing? Having that framework to go back like, oh, right, I was supposed to be going here and this and that. And then concluding the stream with like my thoughts about the game, blind reacting to the first time, having that to fall back on, like you're saying, is so helpful for the video. And as you guys were saying as well, that you guys don't, you know, pre-script any reactions, which I think makes the video so much more engaging. How much of your narrative is planned versus discovered in the editing and creative process?
Um, yes, this is a good question, but I was just thinking about something
Mhm.
when you were just talking is that I think that streaming is it's not different from VOD, but it is a little bit different from VOD in terms of the in like in terms of the demand. So I could see maybe for a streamer like the idea of like because I know like sort of like in order to like stay in the I don't know stream algorithm, you have to do a lot of hours, right?
yeah,
Like a lot of hours of
Mhm.
streaming. And so I could see kind of like the benefits of maybe having like a sometimes you're just hanging out stream and sometimes they're more planned. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I don't wanna like necessarily like, not scare anybody, but
No,
just be
yeah,
like, now it's now stream, but it's gonna be way harder for you. You know
no,
what I
yeah.
mean? But like I feel like people could maybe incorporate some of the ideas of maybe some more strict frames or more plans, like in sort of the types of streams where they're trying to like gain new audience members or like sort of like find have a more like clickable stream. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like a sort of, oh, now like I'm gonna click into this even though it's someone I don't know, versus then also still having like you're just hanging out type streams with your core audience that you already have.
I guess you could also like have a recurring beat that you like to have, like a
Yeah.
recurring bit that you kind of like build towards every single time. That's like maybe like it doesn't demand a lot of production each time, but it becomes like almost like a branding element for you and like your
Yes.
audience. Like we had a friend who in VOD would do this where she paints her nails and she's like amazing nail artist. And she would always, while she was doing one of her nail arts, like have her boyfriend come in like with a tea. And it
Yes.
was like always a recurring joke that she
Yes.
would do. And it was like an easy one to build around. Right. So I think that like, yeah, we're not trying to say just go out and make impossible streams. And actually, like when we did our streams where we had a lot of production, there was actually objectively sort of like a mixed response to that, right? Because it was kind of like a stream that became a VOD a lot. And so it was kind of like there's some streams that are just more about hanging out and chilling. And I think that that's a cool like flexibility there. But I think that like a recurring beat could also be something you could do.
I like what you yeah, I think that we are talking about narrative in like a very strict sense where it's like for each video, like we set up here's what we're doing today, kind of here's why I, Safiya, I'm interested, or why we're interested in it. And then we sort of, here's all the hijinks, and then here's our sort of conclusion. I think narrative in a stream, but also, you know, just in any digital content, can be like sort of recurring themes that people know about you that you build over time.
Yeah.
So you could be like, I am really easily scared. So if you see me play, like, and you can establish that with your audience over time. So if you see me playing like a scary horror game, you guys know that I'm going to be terrified.
Yes.
And this is a big day. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Something like that. So you can probably, like, you can build narrative beats in terms of your own character.
Yeah.
As well as, and I don't mean character like, you know, you're faking it, but like in terms of, you know, sort of like the things you share with your audience that they know about you, that they can relate to. And also, that can be a narrative, but also narratives can be within a single stream or a single video.
I mean, I think that you nailed it with the scaring thing, because if you're someone who just gets scared, right? And there's all these like scary games. If you're playing like Alien Isolation, it's really scary. If you're playing like Five Nights at Freddy, there's jump scares. Like, it's like, you know,
Yeah.
I think that they can set the expectations there.
Yeah. But anyway, let's go back to the question.
Yeah,
Sorry.
sorry, yeah.
No, this
Yeah.
was all so great because, like, I really love how you emphasize again that it's, you know, it's not just you're absolutely cooked if you have like a just chatting vibe, you know, and that narrative can be more than one thing. So
So the question is, how much of the narrative is planned versus discovered in the editing and creative process? So like we said, like, we don't like to script like reactions, you know what I mean? And like plan like, oh, this is what we're gonna think of something. We
Mhm.
do sort of like all the other planning. But obviously when we do experiments, like, things do go wrong sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, like, we're in Malaysia at a theme park in the mountains, and we're supposed to go do a taste
Yeah, yeah,
test, and suddenly it's a torrential downpour.
Yeah.
Or, you know, like, we're melting a bunch of candles together, and they're all in a huge vat, but for some reason, like, the spigot won't open, like, the bottom won't melt, and we don't know why, and that's why we ended up at Walmart, right?
Yes.
But there's things like that happen, that just happen. Like, things
Yeah.
go wrong, like, you plan as much as you can, and things just sort of don't go your way or the way you planned. And we usually, like Tyler said, we usually don't cut that out of the video. We usually just try and sort of, in the moment, figure out a way through.
Yeah.
Then in the editing process, we usually do include, like, we were supposed to do this, but then it started raining, so here's us running through the rain in
Yeah.
a Malaysian theme park and trying not to get struck by lightning.
Yeah.
You know, and people really like that because then it doesn't seem like so manicured. You know what I mean? Like, they feel like they're in on the sort of the process together. You know, like, they like sort of like hijinks, and also like seeing the struggle, and that also, you know, does oftentimes add to the narrative payoff of
Yeah.
something bad happened, but still this happened. Still we got there. You
It
know what I
made
mean?
that segment a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Basically, the really fast context is that like the theme park we were going to is like 8,000 feet above sea level. It's very high up in the
Is that
mountains.
possible? 8,000?
I don't know. I
That's
mean,
too many.
okay, whatever.
Maybe
It's
3.
5,000.
Maybe
It's
3.
high in the. It's like it's high. Okay, and basically.
8,000 might be like Mount Everest.
No, that's 9,000. But
Okay.
it's just high. Okay, so but like, and the idea is like basically like a rain cloud had just like come into the theme park. So we were like in the cloud, and so like when there's thunder, it's like very close, and it was like a
That is true.
crazy torrential storm. And then we had a couple of fixers and producers who were like, "You guys stay back, don't go anywhere. Sav and I are gonna run out there, and we're just gonna make this happen." And
Yes.
and so we just went out there, and that became like a.
Yeah.
I mean, the theme park was cool.
We were running through the theme park, and you were filming on your phone, because phones are like kind of water resistant.
Yeah, kind
And
of. Yeah.
I like had our vlogging camera like under my poncho, and I was like holding like this. I was
But it
like,
was so
"We gotta
high up
go."
that it was
no.
rain.
It was-
And for the context, like Malaysia is very hot
Hot.
in the summer. And so it's like it was extremely hot usually, except for right now where it was like frozen rain as we were running through. It was really cold. So like, yeah, there's no way you can predict that. That
Yes.
was never going to be a narrative beat in the video.
Yeah.
There's this video, I think that when we were talking about these questions or like thinking through some of this conversation, we talked a little bit about the Finland video.
Yes.
I think
So-
it's a really fun video. I really like it. It's
one of the reasons that we do a lot of planning, we've always done some planning. We always had some idea of what we were going to do. We always had some handle on the logistics. But there's a couple of videos that we didn't really like have a clear idea. Like we said, we do an outline of the video of like how, especially if we're doing like multiple things, which often happens when we're like doing like a theme park video or a resort video, or like doing something where we're like going to a place, or like doing something where the video is going to be covering multiple different topics. And we didn't really do an outline like that when we went to the glass igloos in Finland.
yeah.
And we went there because basically we'd seen them on Instagram for years, and they're just like these cool like glass igloos that you can see the northern lights through.
Yeah, they're cool.
But it's actually part of a bigger resort where you can do a lot of like crazy like Arctic things. So you can do like reindeer safari, and like you can hang out with sled dogs and also sled dog puppies, and
Yeah.
you can also do a snowmobile like not
Ride.
cruise
Yeah, it
ride,
was
snowmobile ride
it was to see the northern lights. Yeah, yeah.
and also like other things like, and there's a restaurant
You
there.
plunge in like a frozen river
Oh,
and
yes.
stuff. Yeah, it's
And there's a Finnish sauna
Yeah.
and hole in the river where you can
Yeah.
do a plunge into. So we basically went there without like this clear plan of like how just even just the order of what we're going to talk about.
yeah.
And so we kind of just went there, did a bunch of stuff, and left. And now we're afterwards in the edit room, we're like, why did we do that? Like, how?
We discovered in the edit room, to your question, that we didn't really have a video. No,
Yeah.
no, it's a great video, has great beats, but it was like we didn't have a story. And what the video should have been was like 24 hours in the Arctic Circle where you do all the stuff that's fun to do in the Arctic Circle. But we hadn't filmed it like that. We hadn't thought about it like that. It was just like hey, this seems like a cool place. Let's go there and see what happens. And then we didn't have like the bridges, and we filmed it over multiple days. So it wasn't 24 hours. And so I think that like, it's like one of those ones that I kick myself about because I really like it. But when I watch it every time, I'm like, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
I would actually wonder, I mean, I don't think there's too many people watching right now, so we're going to expose ourselves or anything like that. But I would actually wonder if you guys don't tell me, because I don't want to hear that the video's not good. But if you could watch the video, if you can tell that actually it wasn't structured beforehand,
Yeah.
versus maybe like a more recent video that we had a better plan for.
We rewrote it like 3 times, or we rewrote like segments like 3 times because they were like long-winded and weren't going anywhere. And then like, basically like it's funny because like one of this video we filmed not that long afterwards, we did like a Amtrak train across the country. Like we were like recording retakes like at like 3 a.m, and that made us exhausted for the first day of that film because we were just like scrambling trying to hone in that video.
Yeah.
So that's why I would say, like, yeah, the answer is you can learn a lot in the narrative room. You can learn beats or jokes or funny things or things that emerge, or maybe themes that you want to lean into that might like influence how you write your VO package, or like you might be able to come with like new investigative conclusions that you want to add on there. But I think that like going in with a little bit of a plan, you might just lower the risk of, darn, like I really like the vlogs, but it doesn't make a lot of sense right now.
Yeah, lower the risk of like a bajillion cool clips of doing cool things.
Yeah.
With nothing to tie it through. But I still think there's a beauty in like we did everything we thought was cool in the Arctic Circle in
Yeah.
a 3-day window. There's a beauty in that. I think one thing with your videos that is so intriguing is the opening. The intro is just so engaging that it hooks you in from the beginning. So how do you design an opening for your video that makes viewers stay?
I feel like
Well, we have our intro. So one of the things that we're trying to do a little bit more is put cold opens back into our videos.
Yeah.
Just so like we don't start with just like our title card and the song and stuff. We try to like have a cold open so we get like a joke that kind of sells like the stuff that's going to kind of be in the video.
Some people, especially like who are currently like doing super well on YouTube, have like a great like sort of almost like explicit highlight reel in the beginning of their videos.
Yeah, right.
It's like a version. I mean, Mr. Beast does it, right? Where
Yeah.
he's like, in this video, we're gonna be doing this, and this, right?
Yeah.
And then there's an explosion.
Explosion. I was gonna say there's always an explosion. Yeah.
But I think that like we do, I guess, a version of that with the cold open. We try and like sort of pull out like a joke, like
Yeah.
a joke from later in the video that sets the tone, but also maybe like does a little bit of a tease, like a spoiler of like what it's going to be like later on in the video. But for the intros, I mean, we're trying, like what we try and do is basically explain why we were interested in the topic to begin with.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, hey guys, like, and especially because I think that we do a bunch of a variety of different topics. So we kind of like, sometimes for our audience, it can be like, it's a new thing for them. Like we might have done something that they weren't expecting or they don't know about yet. So we sort of explain like why. For example, when we went to the largest hotel in the world in Malaysia, which
Yeah.
was where that brainstorm was.
Yes.
We were kind of saying like, okay, well, you guys know, like we've spent a lot of time in Vegas. When we were walking around Vegas one time, Tyler told me that the Venetian Hotel in Vegas is the biggest hotel in the world.
Plaza.
Or the Palazzo.
Plaza,
The
yeah.
Plaza Hotel was the biggest hotel in the world.
Yeah.
We Googled it and he was wrong.
Yeah.
The biggest hotel in the world is actually in Malaysia. So that's where we're going. because
Yeah.
we have to see it. We have to see it.
Yeah.
And so like we kind of like put in a little anecdote, and it was sort of like maybe sort of we anticipated, I think correctly, that most people don't really know that the largest hotel in the world is in the mountains of Malaysia.
Right.
And so we were like, this was our experience, which we feel like is relatable or somewhat universal, or you would like an understandable reaction of like, oh wow, that's like
That's
unexpected.
interesting. Yeah.
That's interesting. I wonder what it's like.
Yeah.
And so then we're kind of like, and that's what drove us to be on this plane to Malaysia
We're
currently.
going to Singapore. We're going to Malaysia. We've been dying to go to this place for years and years and years.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that frankly speaking, between the two of us, we find that some of our like actual intros, not like just like the intro sting, but like the first like 2 minutes of a video can be like pretty challenging. Like we try to like do a lot of sourcing stuff and like we try to explain and set the table. And when we do it really well, I think is when it is more anecdote driven or it's like more inkling driven or investigative driven. I think that like and we try to like really like I think that we try to be interesting by explaining why we think it's interesting. And I
Yes.
think that that is like a pretty good North Star. It's like, why'd you choose that idea? It's like, just because I really wanted to go to this hotel. There's not a lot more. I think that it seems like it could be an interesting trip, but it's, that's a good way for me to anchor it because otherwise, that way I can try to predict it better.
And that carries through to a lot of our different series, because we've talked a fair amount about travel videos, but like we also do the Franken videos where we like melt or mix things together. I think is just like there is a science element where we're like, oh, we're trying to figure out, it's like both like a sort of exercise of like I have this urge to like break open these body spray bottles and pour out their contents, but also like what would they all smell like mixed together? Like
And
there's a
what do they make sense
curiosity.
that smell like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's like the kind of the explaining your own curiosity behind things.
Yeah.
I feel like that's sort of how we do it.
Yes, exactly.
I think that's beautiful, honestly, because I mean, what made you guys interested in a topic is probably what made everybody who clicked onto the video in the first place, because they also were interested in what's happening, right? Pivoting from hooks, because you guys answered like everything about the hooks, I want to delve a little bit into turning everyday ideas into viral stories, because your ideas for videos are all so far-fetched and each like so intriguing. How do you guys evaluate ideas, and how do you guys split like what maybe is a good idea from a great idea?
I feel like it's a hard question.
Yeah, it's a
a
hard
good
one.
question. It's a
Yeah.
hard question.
Yeah.
I feel like I mean, I think that we do follow the sort of the through line of like what are we interested in and like
Right.
what do we want to do? And I feel like that has a pretty good hit rate.
Right.
That is not a perfect hit rate.
No.
Like there's sometimes where we're like, I'm really interested in this, and people are like,
Yeah.
it's okay, 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
You know, like
right.
like
Yeah,
I don't mean 10
happens.
out of 10 like amazing. I mean it's the worst performing video.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. That's life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, so I think that like that has generally led us in the right direction where
Right.
it's like follow your own nose, like what do you find interesting?
Yeah.
I do think though that like just from doing YouTube for a long time, I feel like that's how we kind of sort of sniff a video. It feels like this is a video, or it feels like maybe this is not a video, maybe this is a short, maybe it's like just a piece of content, maybe it's just an interesting idea. You know, there's
Yeah.
like there's sort of we kind of have maybe at this point just like a feeling of yes, we feel like this is a video, or no, we don't.
There's definitely this thing where like sometimes we film a video and I'm like, this is awesome. Like this is gonna be like a rocket ship. Like I'm so excited. And like and people are interested, but like not as excited as I was. I think that there's a few frames I would say that we've done, like when we were working on the Vegas videos, it took forever. Like they were hard to film and it took forever to edit and write. They were like, there's like 3 hours of content for the first set of Vegas videos. It was like Vegas 1 and 2. That was 2 hours. And then we did like the Celeb Chef restaurant one. And I would say with that one, I remember we were working with like a really long day. And I said to stuff, I was like, just for like it's nice to be in a situation where you're like, I think this video is gonna be really good. And I really like the video and people really like it. And that's awesome. I think that that's the kind of video where I'd say like, cause it's such a big stunt and a challenge. I think that that would be the tell that like it could have that engagement. I think that with like the train video, like the Japanese train videos, like it's just, I think people really like the video. I mean, I really enjoy the video. It's just one of those ones where it's like, it just feels like something that like really pays off. Like I love train videos and I love seeing these trains. I'm like, put them in one. Let's compare them back to back, baby. Let's see. And so I think that sometimes you can get that inkling, but it's kind of impossible to truly tell. I think if you just make things that you like a lot, you'll have a decent hit rate then. And then, or I think that, or you live with videos that have less interests and have more. You kind of like learn through how people might react to it, and I think that that's what dictates your programming.
I think though to kind of like be a little more specific, like when we say we do things that we're interested in, I think also we spend a lot of time kind of like not just scrolling, but you kind of like scrolling around, scrubbing around, seeing what like people are up to, like what people are seem to be interested in,
Yeah.
and like then we can hone in. I think that you don't. We try not to just. I mean, a lot of digital content is like, what is trending? Do that. You know what I mean? Like what
Right.
like, and we try not to be just like I don't say copycats, but like sort of like iterative only, where it's
Right.
just like only I only saw someone else do this, so now I'm just gonna do it too. But you can kind of like be by seeing what other people are doing, you can kind of sense like sort of what people are generally interested in topic wise and be like, is there anything in that space that we could do that still feels like us? You
Yeah.
know, like I mean, that happens a lot, you know?
I think that we describe ourselves sometimes in like, as like the internet's like a maelstrom. Like it's a lot of energy, a lot of noise, and we like to sort of have like a human investigative like sort of tone that kind of cuts through it. And so it's sort of like about our take or our like what when we see all these different things going on, like what do we find interesting that's sort of like you know absent just the trends is like sort of what do we like sort of when we like touch grass essentially, like what are we feeling like we're interested in essentially.
I feel like we get inspiration for videos like online from what other people are doing on YouTube or other platforms or also in real life. I
Yeah.
think it's
Yeah.
everything, you know what I mean? But I also think that I forgot. I forgot,
Yeah.
sorry.
No, it's all good. I mean, what you guys already said is nailing, like, it's hitting the nail on the head. I'm also blanking on the proper terms, right? Of like things that are intriguing and that like going beyond just what is trending to like something more, which makes the video stand out. And then about like the ideas, how do you guys raise the stakes on idea to make it more compelling for a video?
Well, I did mention the Vegas video. I think
Yes.
it was like, okay, we know this is gonna be crazy. Like, it took
Hmm.
us 2 weeks to film it. It was really, really hard. It was also in the middle of the summer, so it was like 110 degrees every single day, and we
Oh
knew that
no.
one of those, like, challenge slash completionist type videos. We're like, "This is gonna be tough, and this is gonna be exciting because it's like, I I want someone to give me a really fast review of every single hotel. Go for it, please, you know?" So I think that that was one where it's like when the inkling gets really big, it leads to like a normal stakes growing, you know? But that's not like our number one programming methodology. That's
It's
not
tough,
what we do.
yeah,
Yeah, we don't just keep going bigger, 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 bigger. We try to
because it's not super sustainable.
yeah,
Every video can't be, and then it was more, and then it was more, and then it was more. You know what I mean? I do think that it is true that some of our most popular videos are like the every videos, stayed in every Vegas hotel.
right.
I melted every Yankee candle together, and like every is something that I think that sticks out. But at the same time, like you don't want to, you can't literally can't do it every time because it's just too crazy,
Yeah.
too much time, too much money, like everything. So I think that we try and balance it with like, okay, yes, superlatives are clickable. Every, best, biggest, whatever, you know what I mean? Like those kinds of things, like most expensive, those kinds of things do get people to like click in. But I do think that you can probably do some of those ideas sometimes and then sometimes kind of have things that are just like, this is just kind of like a niche topic that I'm interested in. And then we'll see if people are interested in it, you know?
Was that phraseology you said the other day was like comfortably quirky or comfortably right?
Right. Well, we were talking about like,
Because I was just gonna say, like, one of our most popular videos that I love this video. It's a total in some ways, it's an accident. Like, we went to this Japanese spa theme park in, like, 2018. I love the video. It's awesome. It's so fun. And, like, we didn't overproduce it, or we didn't know a lot about what was gonna be there when we went in. We, like, showed up and
we didn't do a ton of planning.
yeah, we kinda went with the flow, and things kinda went perfectly. It's kind of almost like a unicorn. Like, I think everything went perfectly,
Yes, it
and
almost gave us a bad habit for
yeah.
a future video being like, "Well, everything will go well because it went well then." That does not always
Just go
work.
run and gun. Yeah, like what happens happens. But basically, and it's very popular. It's one of the most popular videos on our channel ever. It's like I love it. It's a great video. But it's like it's not like a superlative video. It's
Right.
not like a every video. It's just like it was just interest driven. A good and it's like sort of like what's it like a spiritual sequel is we went to a cheese theme park in Korea, right? Where it's like it's also like it's we were like we just got to do these videos that are like a little bit different that just speak to what we're like real like that what we find on the internet that we're like that seems interesting, and I can't find any like other videos or any information about these things, and I would like to know. So I'll go and I'll make a video about it. So I'll make the video that I'm looking for basically in some
Yes.
ways. So I think that's the tricky element of like the stakes thing, right? It's like yeah, like if you always keep upping the money, the cost, the excitement, or like the energy or the whatever, like the competition, yeah, sure, like that's one vector, but I think it's not sustainable. It can be probably draining, and then you start like losing that like through line to like interest driven from your end as a creator.
And I think that also with streaming, like I said, there's kind of these frames that or trends, structure, sort of given structures that people do already that you can do also.
Yeah,
And I think that that helps. I don't think that you necessarily need to reinvent the wheel always.
yeah, no, I
You know what I
think
mean? Like you
yeah,
can, if you can basically express to an audience what you're doing and why in the title or whatever it is, or whatever it may be, then I think that you can give them a reason to click, and it doesn't have to be the most crazy thing that happened ever. You know?
well, there's one thing that it didn't come up in some of like the beats that you guys had sent over, but like I was gonna say that like series can be your best friend, like in life, like having like serializing your content. Obviously, you can like our Franken series, like we Franken different things. Like one of our bad makeup science videos was like we made the world's largest lipstick, and then we did a candles version, and then we did like a soaps version, you know. So and we operate within those frames, and then like your ability to execute on that content, like it's already sort of semi-produced. Like some of the things that can go sideways. You know how you want to approach certain things. So I think that that's another way. So you don't have to like try to like recreate the wheel and just make your life more challenge. Like more challenge isn't one to one with better, right? And so that they're not always one to one. But yeah.
Someone in the chat a little while ago said that your shirt was fire.
Okay, yeah, it is.
So
I got this in a Japanese thrift store. It's awesome. It's Charles Barkley playing against Godzilla. He had a claw
Whoa.
1992, and this is the shirt version, and it's very cool. I got to be honest. It's like a tricky one though because I don't want to wear it and like wear it out. But I figured out it was gonna be a fun conversation today. I might as well wear it.
No, I was
So
eyeing it too. I was like, "That is a sick shirt." I was thinking of how I was like, "I need to buy my partner one of those." Darn. Gotta
it's
go to
awesome.
Japan.
no, the thing about here's love Japan. Japanese thrift stores, what they do is the people who run them, a lot of them, not all of them, a lot of them will go to the US, raid US thrift stores and bring it all back to Japan.
Yeah, so you get some really interesting through lines. Yeah, and so I saw this one, and it was like it's probably the nicest shirt I own. It's probably the
Yeah.
most expensive shirt that I own,
It's
like
probably the most
outright.
expensive shirt that you own
Yeah,
for sure.
and
I
it's
mean,
like
in terms
just
of how much we paid for
it's
it.
just a t-shirt,
But I think that
it's so cool, and
this one it's tough because like
yeah.
was it Japanese? Is it from
It
Japan?
might have no, well, there's a little bit, but I think that like it was always a
Like a US Western.
X Godzilla.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
come on, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, there's some great thrift stores in Japan that sell really cool vintage US stuff.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, not like I need a reason to be sold to go to Japan again, but your videos of the shirt, I'm like, I need to grab Laura's here. Let's go.
There you
We're
go.
running out of time, but I really want to pick your brain real quick about editing because I mean, a
Hmm.
lot of people who are watching are more than just streamers. They're also YouTubers as well and like creators like on other platforms. So the editing is really important. And I think the editing in your videos, it adds to the beauty of the engagement and it really draws you in. So how does editing shape the narrative for the video after filming?
Mm. I think that we do a lot of the explicit storytelling in editing. Like when we'll film like an experience, we do a lot of voiceover
Mhm.
package and we overall like it. Like we overall like doing it. I
Yeah.
think it gives us a lot of ability to shape the narrative, say what we want to say it succinctly, say it clearly. The only thing that's tough about it is if you basically have like a bunch of vlogs that happen in situ and then you have voiceover in between, you have to put visuals over that voiceover
Yeah.
so it's not a black screen. So that adds a fair amount of editing time because you're
Yeah.
kind of like creating a voiceover track and then doing a whole sort of like visual storytelling treatment on top of it. So I think that to be honest, that like filming something, talking the whole time and then cutting it back and then only covering some jump cuts sometimes with
Yeah.
B-roll is a lot easier.
It is, yeah.
But I think that yeah, we do a lot of narrative shaping after filming.
It's got a lot of challenges. I mean, you gotta it's we try really hard to like write the VO in like sort of like an authentic voice, like where like it's like this is just how I feel about these things and try to like give it still like a personable tone, you know, so that when Soph like reads it, it like sounds and it is just like a representation of like the story. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? So that it sounds like you're just telling your friend, like, here's what happened, right? And so like that is it's challenging. I mean, writing anything is hard, right? And so I think that I like our style because I think it's very efficient at times, like, and it lets us be able to incorporate a lot of things that don't always one to one make sense with the story that we just think are funny jokes or funny bits. Like we can like write in like just non sequiturs or repartee and stuff like that. And I really like getting that personality stuff into a video because then it's like, oh, it's not just a big VO package and like a few lines that aren't even like funny or just jokes or they're just texture lines. We want to kind of work in things that showcase personality or showcase like our experience.
I think it's like a beauty of the videos that you guys produce, like the one going through the Japanese store to try beauty products. It was a lot of like B-roll, and it was more than just I saw this and I saw this. It was like, oh, I went here. Oh, look at this feature, and then there's another. Oh, that's a toothbrush. Anyways, moving back, like that VO section tying in with the little jokes from being specifically right then and there. I think it really ties everything together. And we hit time, we hit 5. But I just want to ask one quick question, final takeaway for any creators that are watching. If a creator wants millions of views, what's one thing they should remember?
Ah.
Um,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
that's a hard one.
If a creator wants millions of views, what's one thing they should remember? Um, I guess tying into all the things we've said in this stream already, like we're talking about narrative. I think that maybe
I think it's effective to make videos that are about things or about
yeah,
topics because then it creates like a entry point for somebody to watch your content who doesn't know you, right? Like everyone knows the memes, like oh, only 60% of you guys are subscribed to this video, so make sure you subscribe. Like everyone knows that. Like I think that making videos about topics or ideas and then figuring out ways to then lace in your personality, like what I just described, is like we make videos about topics so that like maybe someone who doesn't know us could click in, but we want to always make sure that we still put in personality stuff. It's not
yes.
just too rigid, and so that someone can click in because it's interest driven, but then they can also enjoy the content and get to know us in sort of like a more traditional vlogger sense too.
Yes, something that we were also talking about was sorry. Yes, I agree. A balance of like clickability and like sort of we're trying to basically sort of package a video for someone who doesn't know us, but also like personality and enjoyment for people who already do watch you,
Yeah.
right? But the other thing we were talking about was the a thing to not do is to either, for VODs at least, underpace your videos, right?
Right.
Because what you don't want is like a slow feeling video that, like where there's a lot of pauses or like people can kind of tune out, zone out, and be like, wait, what are we talking about? But you also don't want to overpace your videos,
Yeah.
which I think that people who especially are trying to play into kind of optimizing for the YouTube algorithm can like fall into a little bit.
Yeah.
Like you can sort of like something that we always do for narrative is we usually almost always include like an outro, final
Right.
thoughts, conclusion.
Yeah.
If you look at like our analytics, like the watch time kind of goes meh.
Like, it
a
starts
lot
to
of
dip.
people start leaving when we start being like, okay, this is sort of
Let's summarize.
let's summarize, right? But we always feel like our thought would be incomplete without it.
Yeah.
So that is something that we do that's not analytically optimized.
'Cause-
So it would be analytically optimized to cut the video short right when the action was done and then be done, right?
Yeah.
Because then you like or even cut the ends off sentences. Like,
Right.
don't finish your sentences. Like I think a lot of people get into that sort of like loop of like it has to be super in like sort of explosions instantly like engaging the entire time. Like that sort of thing. And so sometimes I find that can when you start editing for the algorithm,
Yeah.
you might lose a sense of speaking to a real person or like editing to a human that you actually want to talk to.
Exactly.
So I think you don't want like a super slow feeling video, but you also don't want a too fast video.
Yeah. Sometimes the analytics or the algorithm, I think, implies that faster is always better, and that's not always true. And I think that, like again with the conclusion, like we do see a drop off in the viewership when that happens. But as we said, like the video, I guess it actually factors most into like the initial, I guess, like thesis of this conversation about like narrative is like if we don't want to leave the narrative incomplete, like that's not the point. We want to make sure we finish that point, and we know that we have a large percentage of our population of our audience that likes the conclusion, right? And so we shouldn't just like, oh, bypass that because algorithmically it'd be faster. It's like, no, we want to finish the point, right? So I think that like the roundabout way of saying here's how you get millions of views is I think it's like I would argue try to be, try to have videos that are about things that you're interested in that people can engage with. Make sure that you incorporate some elements of your own personality still in that content. Don't lose that voice. Have a personality, have a perspective, have that investigative tone if it's warranted. And I think that like when it comes to the way you pace the content, not too slow, but don't go so fast and just bypass things that you have incomplete content because like a person wants the conclusion.
Yeah.
We assume.
It's all a balance, right?
Yeah.
Someone in the chat said it's like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It kind of is like
Mhm.
that.
I know it sounds like a
You
nothing burger answer, but
No, I
like
don't I
yeah,
think it's
yeah,
like interesting topic,
yeah,
interesting you.
yeah,
Why are you doing? Who are
yeah.
you? And not too slow, but not too fast.
There you go. That's it.
Great notes. I think that's great for everybody to take notes of. I mean, yeah, it's easier to read. You could read more books if you just don't read the latter half of the book, but like you don't get the full story from doing that. And I think there's a beauty in completing the video with like your thoughts at the end. So we've hit time. Thank you so much, Safiya and Tyler, for coming on and sharing all of your expertise with all of us. And you can go check out their channel. It's linked in chat, both the YouTube and Safiya's Instagram. So drop them a follow there if you haven't seen the videos because they are mad entertaining. Highly, highly, highly recommend. So thank you again. Can we get some W's in chat, please, for both Safiya and Tyler? I appreciate you guys so much for coming on. And to wrap up the Creator Accelerator program, again, guys, this was one of our lovely talks that we had today. We will have another one tomorrow. And just to let you guys know, if you guys came in late, you guys came in the middle, different time zones, don't worry about it. The VOD is going to be immediately available up on my Twitch stream. Also, this was also duo stream to Blurb's YouTube channel. The VOD will be taken down, cut down, edited, cleaned up a little bit, and then put up on Blurb's YouTube channel. So you'll immediately have access after the stream. So don't worry about it. If you came in late, you can immediately go rewatch it and not miss out on any important information that was dropped. And again, don't forget, please check out and drop a subscribe or a follow to our lovely speakers. And with that, thank you everybody for being here. And we will have another talk tomorrow at 4 p.m. PST. So good night, guys.